This morning in our series, The Dish, Lebanese home cooking lands in Brooklyn, and the food critics, they are raving. The restaurant Nabila's is a New York Times critics pick, inspired by a real-life Nabila Farah. Her son says she dominated for years the, quote, home cooking wars of Middle Eastern moms in Washington, D.C., and now that son, Michael Farah, has convinced his mom to open a restaurant based on her recipes and do something else she had never done before. Actually write those recipes down.
Every day at Nabila's can feel a bit like a party. Crowds spilling out onto the sidewalk, and inside, big plates of Lebanese home cooking in the center of the room. And all of it as full of flavor and punch as Nabila herself.
You delivered good food. And he has a great personality. Mike is one of those people that I don't think he has enemies. I do, but
Michael and Nabila Farah are mother and son, and now they're also co-owners of the namesake restaurant, which, if it feels like a house party, well, its roots are the parties that Nabila herself used to throw as a stay-at-home mom outside D.C.
We would stay the hell out of the kitchen and not disturb her before the big events.
Typically, parents worry about the parties that their teenagers throw.
Yeah.
But this is the teenagers steering clear of
that's
the parties.
you made a very good point.
All the time, me and my brothers would be trying to go to sleep. But my mother is still blasting music at like 2 in the morning. And we're like just sitting there waiting for the party to quiet down.
It's a culture of things. It's not Nabila, it's not only me. It's just like every week we have a party at somebody's house, you know what I mean? So now I look at them, I find them a little bit boring because
Growing up in Beirut in the 1960s, Nabila fell in love with food, but might never have cooked professionally if not for the shock of divorce in her 40s, years after she and her husband had emigrated to America.
My brother told me, Nabila, you never wrote a check. You mean to tell me you're going to be behind the cash register and, money? Well, I have to do what I have to do.
She ended up buying a little Middle Eastern market and turning it into a catering business.
So it was a moment of reinvention.
It was. It really was.
Yes.
And it was really just her grit and her determination and her cooking skills. She never spent $1 on PR. There's no Instagram. She still takes every order by hand.
I don't have Instagram.
It is like a 1975 operation.
As for Nabila's itself, that was Michael's idea, feeling ready for something else after 15 years in finance. But he couldn't really open a restaurant based on his mother's recipes until his mother revealed those recipes.
But the problem is, the recipes aren't written down.
Oh God, no. If you watch the way she cooks, there's not a single recipe. It is all instinctual for her. And I spent about a year going back and forth to DC, just in the kitchen, watching, videotaping, jotting down recipes
Making
as much
fun
as
of
I
me.
can.
Oh yeah?
Being exasperated by what was happening in there and how this actually works.
I was a little nervous at first because there are things that we wanted to change, right? And how long you been doing this for? And people know you for your cooking, right? So we don't want to mess with that. It's your restaurant. But at the same time, there's a tiny bit of room for improvement, and she gave me a lot of grace.
When he hired a chef, Luis Awet, the former head chef at Michelin-starred Meadow Suite, he too needed some time with Nabila in the kitchen.
What's the seasoning? More sumac?
Yeah, sumac, black pepper,
Za'atar?
and a little
You can
paprika.
also
No
add
za'atar on this one. Oh, I could add za'atar, you're right.
Za'atar is good on it.
Well, maybe we'll change some things. That's what we're doing.
We're evolving.
Yeah, we are.
It's also been delicious, as Luis, who runs the kitchen day to day here, showed off Nabila's shish barak, and also the fattoush salad, my wife's personal favorite. She's not the only one who approves.
Go. Pete Wells gives you a critic's pick.
Yeah. It was a huge moment for us. It was major validation. And we started out, I think, very neighborhood-centric as a restaurant. This neighborhood supported us big time, and they still do. But he sort of changed the game for us.
Well, Nabila's, the restaurant that is now not only making new friends,
Go.
it's bringing the old traditions of Lebanese home cooking to a whole new generation.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. It's a very homey, it's very filling and very comfort.
It's a little hug from the inside out. You know?
We do our food with love.
Oh. Tony, I would want to go to Nabila's just to meet Nabila.
She's amazing.
She's such a firecracker rock star.
She's one of my favorite characters.
I get it, and the dynamic between she and her son, too.
Yeah.
And the food looks so good.
It's fantastic. It's affordable. I don't know what they put in the dressing for the fattoush salad, but even my kids lick the lettuce. They love it so much. I mean, it's hard to get kids
Kids are
eating the
licking
green.
lettuce?
Yes,
Wow.
yes.
Every
I like
time
what you
you go
said.
by that place, it's packed.
Yeah.
It's always
of course,
very
it's
crowded.
in Brooklyn, where you two, all the cool people I'm sure
All
live in
the
Brooklyn.
cool people.
But I like how you described it. It's like a hug from the inside out.
It is like that. Yeah.
Oh,
It warms you. It warms you body and soul.
I love the fact that Nabila used to do this in. Oh, we're telling me we gotta go. I love you, Nabila.
Can't you just finish the sentence?
I just love that she's such a warm and generous spirit. Like, I love that about her.
You gotta go.